Hey everyone, Luke here, and welcome back to another installment of Sit and Talk, the series where I just sit and talk about whatever I want, whether it be favourite characters from my series, general day-to-day life, or just generally whatever I feel like doing, and also my own personal projects. And today, obviously, since by the title of the video, we're going to be talking once again about my book, the one for me, but more specifically, a certain character in the book. Now, one thing I want to say is that I'm nearly halfway through the second one. It is going to be the longest one because basically halfway through the second one is basically about, I'd say, judging where we are, judging where I am, I'm going to say halfway will be about 75% of the way through the first book. So anyone who's read the first book or is even thinking about looking up the first book, I'll put a link to the page where you can actually buy the book in the description below. But yeah, if you actually look at the page length, you can probably work it out there. But if anyone can actually work out how long the first half of the second one is, like page wise, then I'll give a heart and I'll mention it at some point in one of the videos. And obviously I did promise this week that I'll do 2 more videos besides the Dr. Stone video. This is one of them. Fingers crossed, Sunday the Promised Neverland review will be coming, but that's for later. For now, again, we're going to be talking about my book, and also particularly my favourite character in the book. So, who is my favourite character in the book and also in the whole series? Well, she goes by the name of Macy Compton. Yes, named after my cat, basically. Yeah, that was kind of lazy on my part, but no, seriously. When coming up with the character and figuring out her name, Maisie was with me at the time, so I was just like, oh, her name will do. So yeah, Macy Compton is the name of my favourite character in the whole book series, and she makes her first appearance in chapter 5 at the bottom of page 35. Now, one thing that I did give her differently from the other characters was the fact that she always dyes her hair green. No idea why I did that, but I guess it was just something to make her stand out. But yeah, actually no, there was a reason, because you have a lot of anime characters who obviously have green hair. So I was like, okay, I wanna have a character that has green hair myself. So I picked my favourite character. Now, why is Macy my favourite character in the series? Well, simple reason is that she is pretty much based on me. I mean, all the characters are based on me, for lack of a better word. Like Isaac, who I mentioned before, like who's the main character of the first book. He's primarily based on me, but they all have a little bit of me in. They all have a little bit of me in them in the characters. But Maisie and Isaac are obviously the most obvious, particularly Maisie, because there's a chapter in the book where you look at her bedroom and it's pretty much how my bedroom is, like just full of anime, manga, just like shelving the wall. That's pretty much Maisie. And also she's just a ray of hope in the series. Like, she's always doing juvenile things, like just jumping up everywhere, just basically having cat postures. Like, she'll jump on walls and just sit on there like a cat does. So yeah, she's my favourite character. Now, obviously, now in a minute I'm going to be talking about how I came up with her and what the plans are for her in the future. Oh, and also, in case you're wondering what Maisie actually looks like, there she is. There's a good picture of her. So, don't know if you can see it still. Yeah, there. Sorry, I thought there was a bit of a mark on the camera, but no, it turns out it was a reflection. But there, that's a picture of Macy. That's what she looks like now. How I actually, sorry about this, guys. I'm just getting to a point in going into Discord, because there's something in Discord that I actually want to bring up that I actually want to bring up personally. So if you just bear with me, sit down here. Here it is. I'll go into that in a minute. But yeah, how I came up with Macy was basically she just came to me out of whim. Like literally, as I was writing the book and coming up with ideas and everything, the character of Macy just sort of like came to me. I just wanted this like happy, energetic person who could basically give a lot of positivity to some of the darker elements that happen in the book, because there are a few dark elements. So I just wanted to create a character that was just sort of lively, just sort of energetic, just in the moment, just feeling positive as much as she possibly can, and that happens sometimes. As well. Particularly, there was a character in Doctor Stone. In Doctor Stone that's just recently appeared called Luna, and the artist he made the design for her with no thought of her role in the story, but the mangaka thought of that when he saw her design. And yeah, that happens sometimes. Like you'll have characters who basically they just come to the authors naturally, and you don't have any idea what they're going through the story until you actually sit down and think about it. That's kind of the same thing that happened with Macy. Like she came to me, and at first I didn't know exactly what role she was gonna take in the story, but eventually it just sort of like spun into that, and yeah, that's how she was created. Now, next bit, I'm going to tell her about what role I eventually gave her in the story. Alright, so since I created Macy, I figured like, okay, I love this character, I love writing for this character, I want to make her a main character. So I figured, how on earth can I make her a main character? And I was bouncing ideas on my head, but the one that just seemed to work for me was when I realised, okay, Isaac has a partner, his brother Anthony has a partner, but Amanda doesn't have a partner, they're sister. So when that actually happened, when I actually figured out like, okay, I want these two to get together, that's when everything just clicked, and it just made so much sense to me to put Amanda and Macy together, and they did eventually become my favourite couple to actually write in the story. Because they were so different, they had their own little vibe to them. In the sense that they were so similar. Like Amanda is pretty much a tomboy in the same way that Macy's pretty much a tomboy, and that's how they kind of clicked together for me personally. And the reason Amanda's a tomboy is because basically she was just raised by her brother, so I figured naturally that's going to affect someone's perception of how they're going to grow. Like they're going to grow up a tomboy, and they're going to like more tomboyish things rather than girly girl things. That's just the way I saw it. Whether people agree with me or not, that's up to them. But yeah, anyway, so when I figured out like, okay, these two are going to get together, I then started getting ideas in my head like, okay, what would their dynamic be and everything, and it just sort of clicked right away. And of course, coming up with Macy opened the door to a lot of possibilities. Like I said, I was just thinking about ideas of them to actually do what sort of adventures could they get up to, and with the birth of Macy, spawned the birth of the main villain of the entire trilogy. Yes, it's not the villains of the first book. They're gonna be returning at some point in the series. I'm not gonna say when, but they will make their return. The villains of the first book, but no. The villain that I'm talking about, the villain of the entire trilogy, they appear throughout the entire series. They start off as minor character, and then later on they spawn into the main villain of the entire series. Now coming up with them, I feel like, okay, what could their dynamic be? Why would they be the main villain? And sure enough, they're related to Macy, they're related to her past, and this is going into details of what's going to happen in the second book, which I'll be doing once I've done the second book. I will be doing like videos on that, and then obviously for the third book. But for now, yeah, so talking about Maisie, her spawning the main villain of the entire series, and it just sort of clicked together, and it just sort of clicked together. And when I spawned Maisie, I figured like, okay, I really wanna do a story about these two, basically making them the main characters of the second book. And then I figured like, okay, I've got to be fair, I've got to give Anthony, the oldest brother, the final book to be his book. That's basically how it did, and that's what spawned the entire trilogy. Now, what is going to be their dynamic in the second one? Well, let me just do a quick cut, and we'll discuss that in a bit. So now, like I said, Maisie and Amanda, they're the main characters of the second book, and I'm in the middle of writing that quite literally, because I'm pretty much at the halfway point. So their dynamic of the second book, the first one was basically Olivia and Isaac getting together. That was the dynamic of the first one. That was the main goal of the first one. Amanda and Maisie's goal of the second one is to adopt. Like they wanna adopt a child, and they wanna have the family of their own. And everyone around, well, I say everyone around them is support, but basically the main characters are supposed to, like Isaac, Anthony, Zoe, and Olivia, and basically the main cast of the first one is very supportive of them. But of course, with their support comes obstacles, and the obstacles are not because they're gay. Like, I make that perfectly clear. It's not because they're gay that's the obstacle of them being adopted. It's because of just who Amanda is. I basically make that clear. Like it's not because they're homophobic. It's just because of Amanda. Like, her family is basically the driving centre of the conflict of the second one. That's basically what it is. I make it perfectly clear, like, Maisie could have got together with Anthony, and the second one would have still been the same. It would have still, all the events would have still happened regardless of who Maisie got with out of the Quinton siblings. It didn't matter. So I basically took all of that out the window. It's like, okay, it's just basically focus on who Amanda is and who her family is. That's basically the main central conflict of the second one. For the most part, I mean, obviously there is going to be some homophobic nature, but it's more to do with religious aspects. Basically, that's basically what it is. So there's going to be one side that are going to be homophobic, but like the main source of conflict, with it being Maisie's parents basically being disapproving of the whole adoption. That's basically why it's not because they're homophobic, but because of who Amanda is and who her family is. But I know I've just said like a chunk homophobic out, but that's bad on my part. Literally, there's one part that like isn't like that, but then there's one part that is. But that one part is that's mainly focusing more on what Anthony's conflict's going to be in the third one. So like that's set up for the third one, and I'm not going to be talking about that in this video. I'm going to be talking about that as we get into talking about what my plans are for mainly the second and third one. But I just wanted to give you a taste of what the main conflict of the second one actually is going to be, which is going to be, are they going to be able to adopt, and are they going to be able to have a happy family? Because basically that's the whole running theme of the series, like family and what it is to actually have a proper family and who your family actually is. So that's basically the main conflicts of this series, like what it is to have family, and that's going to be Maisie and Amanda's conflict and how it's going to shape them, and basically some major changes in the second one are going to impact the rest of the series. And not only that, but basically the events of the second one are going to impact the whole family and the whole dynamic of the Quintons in general. It's all going to change at the end of the second one, and the third one is basically going to be sort of like trying to recover from that change and basically get everyone back together and on the same level of a family. So yeah, that's basically it. And Amanda and Macy, like I said, they're my favourite couple in the series. I just love how they just bounce off each other. They just complement each other. Macy's more of the one who's basically the one who's more to act more, whereas Amanda is the one that's basically more calm and collective, and they basically complement each other quite well there. And I'm hoping at some point to do like a moment where that dynamic actually snaps and breaks between them. Maybe not in this one, maybe in the third one. We'll just see how it goes. But yeah, the second half of the second book I've got basically planned out, and hopefully I'll be able to go into more details about that in the third video of this series that I'm going to be doing. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. The next video I'll be doing, like I said, talking about the second and third book, and then after that it'll be what my plans are after the series, like what books I've got planned after the series. That's what I'm going to be talking about. But yeah, second one, hopefully, fingers crossed, will be out November next year, so November 2021. Second one, with the third and final one March 2023, and I'll be doing a reminder of this at the end of the next video. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to give you a brief introduction to my favourite character, why I like her so much, where she came from, and what plans I have for her in the series. So that's basically what I did. That's basically what I wanted to do. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this video? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. This will be Lasha Luke signing off. Later, guys.